Welcome, Carrie here from Healing Humanity, the power of a proper human diet. Today I am thankful, grateful, blessed for all of you joining for our Saturday night live carnivore open mic. This may be the last one. I know I said that last time, but I'm getting fewer people coming on and sharing, like new faces, new stories. So we shall see if people are interested in sharing tonight. For those of you that are new here, my name is Carrie. I've been on a carnivore diet for over 2 years now. It's completely saved my life. Here's a graphic. That was me before carnivore. Severe depression, sleep apnea, brain fog, man boobs, IBS, class 2, obese, BMI was 37, gout. I had skin cancer. I was diagnosed with Barrett's esophagus. I had a TIA mini stroke, and all sorts of heart issues that I was on medication for. Kidney stones, lost my appendix. I was diagnosed with fatty liver disease. I recently found that sifting through all of my old medical records. So I was an absolute mess before finding carnivore, and it's completely saved my life. It's given me a second chance at life. It's fixed all of my heart issues. My congestive heart failure has completely reversed. And that's all in my medical records that I've shared at my lifelong irregular heartbeats reversed. I'm doing a documentary called Healing Humanity because this has truly saved my life. And I've seen it heal and save so many people, so many incredible stories. And the purpose of tonight is to share some of these stories of healing. So it's open mic, like you're a comedian and you get up on stage, but this is way easier than that because you don't have anyone heckling or booing you. And everyone here in this community is incredible. So they're all cheering you on. It's a good crowd. So if you're interested in sharing your story, I'm going to be sharing the link in just 1 minute. 2 announcements. Number 1, healinghumanity.life. That's our membership site. Proceeds from it go to support our documentary. We do 12 calls a week. Breaking Addictions calls, which is a 12-step program to breaking your food addiction. It's been some incredible stories of healing in there. We have on doctors and experts. We had Dr. Ida on, Dr. Baker on, Dr. Kiltz on. We do a weekly Q&A. We do a weekly Inspire Together. This is for maybe you're just starting carnivore. Maybe you're committing to 30 days. Maybe you need some more community or support. That's one of the biggest things. A lot of people fail on carnivore because they don't have the community. The community for me back in the day, I was in Dr. Barry's group. Jen was in Bella's group. And my community was strictly YouTube. And you can do that too. There's tons of great YouTube content out there, and you can leave comments and things like that. But our membership site right now is 50% off. There is a link in the description below. If you use code LIFE525, you get 50% off. And the other big thing I got to announce, it's coming up. This. So we are doing a big meetup in Ontario, Canada. 7 days from now. Is that a week from now? That is a week from now. It's May 3rd today. In 1 week, next Saturday, I will not be doing a carnivore open mic live stream because I will be in Ontario, Canada with Dr. Kiltz, with Dwight Garlow, with Emma. Jen's going to be there as well. And we're going to be doing a meetup and sharing stories of healing live in person. We're going to share some updates from the documentary. Dr. Kiltz is going to speak. Dwight's going to tell his incredible story. Dwight is amazing. Dwight has helped, I think he's upwards of 70 individuals at this point find healing. A ton of them that have fixed their metabolic health. Dozens and dozens of them that have reversed their type 2 diabetes. Dwight Garlow is one of the most incredible people I've ever met. He came down and visited with us along with Martha and the boys, Jeff's wife and boys. And we're going up there to visit them and have this big meetup, and I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. But there's a couple tickets left. If you want to join us, get your ticket. Besides this, we're doing a meetups in Washington State, Washington, D.C., Montana, Boston, all over the world. So go to healinghumanity.movie/events, or just go down in the description below, and there's a link. There's a link in the description below. And you can click on that, and you can see all of our events. And shout out Dr. Kiltz. You can also go to drkiltz.com right on the homepage there. They've got all of the meetups listed. We are also going to give stuff away tonight. So let me check the chat here real quick. What should we give away? Let's do this. Let's do a Healing Humanity t-shirt. Yeah, a Healing Humanity t-shirt. That's what we're going to do. So if you you have to post a question. That's the rule. You can't just do hashtag ribeye tonight. We need questions, and it's got to be a good question. Post your best question with hashtag ribeye. And I got to push the button to go live on Instagram, which I forgot to do. Sorry about that, Instagram. That button's pushed. Hashtag ribeye with your best question, and we're going to give away a Healing Humanity t-shirt. We're randomly going to pick one of those. So you got to post a really good question. Hashtag ribeye, and we're all set there. The entries are coming in as we speak. So how are you guys doing today? I'm in the beautiful world-famous Montello Theater. I think we had prom. There was a bunch of kids outside by the waterfall getting pictures taken. We got Fish and Fun, a huge festival going on here in Montello. And so the town is hopping tonight. It's crazy. Lots of traffic. In the movie theater, we thought it would be dead tonight because of prom and because of this big festival that's going on. But no, it's pretty busy up there. We're playing Thunderbolts tonight. Hey, we got Papa Carnivore in the chat. Target prime rib. Thomas is going to try to have some fatty beef bone broth made with extra butter. One of the best things in the world for you. We got Lane Penny here. Lane messaged the other day. Frankly, Lane, I'm here as promised. Lane, had you not said this, I might not have done this live stream tonight. You had said, are you going to do the Carnivore open mic? And I'm like, well, if we're getting requests for it, maybe we'll try one more. So hopefully some of you on here are going to be brave and share. I'm going to post that link in just a minute in the chat. Let me find that link here. Post right now your best question with hashtag ribeye and let me know, what did you eat today? What did you eat today and how are you doing? I had chuck roast, my favorite meal of all time. All right, let me get this link. Boom. Anybody see the movie Thunderbolts yet? We're playing it upstairs, and it's supposed to be pretty good. Oh, the other big announcement I have is, just a little announcement. Bill Knott from Alaska. Bill Knott, you guys are familiar with Bill Knott? He's going to fly in an airplane down to Tampa in November for Hack Your Health. Adam and I will be speaking at Hack Your Health, and we're going to be sharing stories from our documentary at Hack Your Health, and I can't believe it's happening. Bill Knott's going to share the stage with us. He's going to share his story. He's going to be like Elvis has entered the building. So if you guys are interested in attending that, Hack Your Health is incredible. Everyone's going to be there. You can get $100 off. I'm not an affiliate for Hack Your Health, but I do love what they're doing, and I'm trying to get the word out and trying to fill the seats. I'm really thankful that they're having us back there to speak again, and it is a great event. It was the first event that I went to, and I really, really enjoyed it. Got to meet so many people. So if you're interested in that, let me find it here. Here it is. If you go to hackyourhealth.com and you use code HHLIFE, you get $100 off. They got a whole bunch of different types of tickets. It's like a multi-day event. So I will post that in the chat. Hackyourhealth.com, HHLife. Get $100 off. See Bill Knott on stage. I can't wait for that. So PhD for life, 1 week to go for the meetup in Canada. I can't wait for the meetup in Canada. It's going to be incredible. Jen's in the chat. GFG Homestead. Hello, everyone. Hey, speaking of Homestead, we did a big Homestead project. I'm going to post the link right now that I just lost. Darn it. Trust me, I'm a professional. We're going to get this sorted here. I got to push a lot of buttons here to run this thing. It's kind of crazy. All right, I'm posting the link below. So here's the rules. Here's the rules. I post the link. You click the link. We try to get to everybody. If it just goes nuts for some reason, we might not get to everybody. You could share your story, but try to limit it to 5 minutes. What led you to a carnivore diet? What sort of health issues did you have? And what sort of healing did you find? And then when you're done, you're more than welcome to shout out. Maybe you got a YouTube channel, maybe you're on Facebook, or maybe you got a website or something you want to shout out to the audience. More than welcome to do that. So the link is now officially in the chat. GFG Homestead said hello. On the homestead today, did a big homestead project with Jen and Katie. We have chickens that are on the PCD, proper chicken diet. We got them as little chicks, and they're about that big now, and we just moved them outside. They were actually in our dining room under the heat lamp, staying nice and safe and warm in Wisconsin. We moved them outside. We built a whole thing with nesting beds in our old greenhouse because we're not putting any vegetables in that thing. So our old greenhouse has the nesting beds in it and the chickens, and we just got all that sorted today. So that was pretty exciting to get that all in place. So I got to do some more homesteading videos. I think we'll do more with those chickens. But our chickens have only eaten a proper chicken diet, and they're thriving. They're, like I said, they're like this big now. We've been feeding them grubs and insects, and now they're going to just be eating whatever they forage for outside, as chickens do. Insects, they find a mice, they eat the mouse, whatever they got to eat. So more videos to come on that. It was really cool getting the chicks outside for the first time. In the greenhouse, the floor of the greenhouse is just sand and dirt, and they were doing a dust bath already, which I guess is just instinct, obviously, but it was kind of cool seeing them. Like the first time their feet touched the sand or the dirt, they went right in there. Instinct took over and did a little dust bath. All right, I'm just going to star a couple of these questions here. So I had chuck roast today, and I had burger patties. Jen had burger patties today. Hey, it's Caleb. How's it going, buddy? Caleb's Carnivore Quest. Caleb's going to be at our Washington meetup, and Caleb's going to attempt to arm wrestle Dr. Sean Baker. All right, we're going to bring on our first guest in just a minute here. Ribeye Ranger Jim. Hi, Carrie, and all our carnivore friends. 675 days of great sleep, more energy, and loving life again. That's incredible. I got to check my days now. I am at 775. I'm 100 days. 100 days past Ribeye Ranger Jim. Caleb's Carnivore Quest. What if I could, Carrie, but I can't go to Canada right now? Well, we'll see you in Washington. Remember, hashtag ribeye. We've got 23 entries so far for the Healing Humanity shirt. Post your best questions. Got to be a question. Follow it up with a hashtag ribeye. We're going to give away a Healing Humanity shirt. You can't just put hashtag ribeye. You got to do it with a question. All right, I'm almost caught up here. Patty's got a good question there. Oh, Jen's got an announcement too. I forgot about this one. Montello Theater, Wisconsin meetup, July 27th. July 27th at the world famous Montello Theater. Come on out for that. It's going to be listed. HealingHumanity.movie/events. The link will be in the description below. Wow, I'm getting a bunch of questions now. Jen, I need your help. Jen, are you listening? All right, we're going to take our first guest here. Let me just see. Gregory Goldbarth, Gig, how's it going, buddy? Gig says, Carrie, I loved your interview with ChatGPT. Oh, thank you so much. For those that watch that video, man, I get some crazy comments. People saying, like, that's not scientific. I'm like, it was supposed to be a joke. Like, I'm talking to a robot AI. It was just to have fun. It wasn't meant to be scientific. Thank you for the super chat, Gregory, though. Really appreciate that. Every penny from those goes towards our documentary. All right, we got a lot of comments. Jen and I stopped at a rummage sale today, and I got Dr. Atkins' original book from 1972, and I also got a book about how crazy the whole sugar industry was and how it came about. All right. Here we go. We've got our first guest. Megan, welcome.
For a second, I was like,
Hey, Carrie.
why the hell is Carter here?
I'm not here, Mom. Sorry.
It's weird.
Sorry.
Mom's jumping in on your story.
So, I am an orthopedic nurse from Kansas City, and I discovered carnivore via keto like you did, mainly in the form of Dr. Berry, but it took about a year and a half before I really swallowed the pill of like, oh, maybe I should go carnivore because like let's try that out. Tried going carnivore, and I noticed a significant increase in my brain activity when it comes to controlling my ADHD, which
Nice.
is and it's one of those things where like you don't think about that. You think about when you hear about the carnivore diet, you're thinking of weight loss, or you're hearing about people curing chronic illnesses. You don't think about mental illnesses, or at least that's not the first thing that comes up to mind. I know like we have people like Chris Palmer and Georgia Eid, but you don't think about up here. You think about the weight loss aspect of it.
Yeah. I'm so glad you said that, because that's so true. It frustrates me sometimes when I see like a family member or a loved one and they're suffering. And you mentioned carnivore and they're like, but I don't need to lose any weight. Like it's only for weight loss. But I feel like Megan, so many people end up doing carnivore like you did, and then whoa, what is going on with my brain? So many people have that, the brain fog going away. So for you, is the ADHD improved?
Significantly, to the point where like I wish I could take my brain as it is now and transplant it to when I was much younger, so I could actually like sorry, it's hard to put into words, but it's almost like my brain works normally. It works like how it's supposed to work.
Right.
For people who don't know what ADHD is, essentially, the best way to describe it is it's your brain does not regulate dopamine correctly. Your brain will produce dopamine in the event of you are completing tasks, from anything like you completing your documentary to you making your bed. It doesn't matter what the task is. Your brain will release dopamine when you as a reward. Thing is with ADHD, what happens is your brain does not secrete that when you are doing tasks. This is why people jump from so many different tasks when you have ADHD and you can't concentrate because you are not getting that reward.
Right.
So that's why it's so hard for us to, when you have ADHD, to focus and actually pay attention, even when you know you need to, and when you're trying to, because your brain cannot regulate itself.
I feel like, not to make this about me, but I feel like that was something maybe I wasn't diagnosed with, but I had. I remember when I got out of high school, I tried to go to college, and I remember the first day the professor was speaking, and it was just like blah 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 blah. Wah, wah. It was like Charlie Brown. I could not focus, and I just had to keep telling myself like, pay attention, and then I'd be wandering off over here, pay attention, over and over again. I just like I can't do it.
That, and also I think let's be fair too, I don't think in the modern society, I don't think our brains are meant to work the way we are in modern society, to sit still constantly all the time. I don't
think it's completely unnatural to be sitting under fluorescent lights for a fixed number of hours, 12 hours staring at a screen doing exactly this. It's so unnatural for sure.
And then people wonder why, like, kids like nowadays, especially in school, like, let's even forget the unnatural foods that kids are eating nowadays. Like, in fact, you're getting, younger kids to sit still for 8 hours when their brains are developing. Like, of course, it's not going to work. Why do you think kids are getting diagnosed left and right with ADHD?
Right. Do you feel like in many of those cases, it's not like really ADHD? It's just like, listen, this kid is locked up under lights. It's unnatural. You're filling them full of sugar and they're bouncing off the walls and they're not sleeping at night properly because they're doing all these unnatural things. And then it's almost like a blame thing. Like, okay, you got ADHD. There's something wrong with you. And
I think it's a little bit of column A in the sense of like we're forcing kids to do unnatural things, and a little bit of column B in the sense of the criteria has not changed, but the diagnosis for ADHD has gone through the roof, just like with autism. So I think it's a little bit of both. But ultimately, I don't think the food that we're eating is helping in any way, shape, or form. I don't know how much you watch with Bart K. The way he lists is like nutrition's like the number one thing you need to do to fix everything, and everything else is like a nice additive to add to make your you work optimally, but
Right.
it's not a necessity like as diet is.
Right. Megan, how long have you been doing carnivore?
I've been doing carnivore for a good solid 4 months at this point, and it's one of those things where it's like every day, like you mentioned, it gets better and better.
Yeah.
Every meal tastes better and better somehow, even though it's literally the exact same food. It is literally just meat and salt. I did do an experiment with the lion diet during Lent. I'm Catholic, and so I would eat meat, and then on Fridays we're not supposed to eat meat if you're Catholic on Fridays during Lent because it's a 40-day period right before Easter. And I would just do a fast that day, and it was shocking how not hungry I was during that period of time.
Right.
But I've since kind of branched back out again. I'm trying to figure out what I'm at the point that we're in the carnivore diet where I'm trying to figure out what does and doesn't work with me.
Right. Yeah, you said you're feeling better and better at 4 months. I remember when I was at 4 months, I felt so good, and I was very fortunate. I got to do an interview with Dr. Chafee, and he said, "Just wait. When you hit 6 months, when you hit a year, it gets better and better." And I thought he was lying. I didn't think he was lying. I'm like, "You're overselling this," because I'm like, I can't feel any better than this. I feel so good right now. How could I possibly feel better? But I'll tell you what, Megan, he was telling the truth, because from month 4 to month 6 to 1 year, like it just gets better and better. Even now, I'm over 2 years now, strict carnivore. And even now at 2 years, I was just saying this, Coach Lisa's in the chat right now. Shout out Coach Lisa. I've been exercising and just like really honing things in. And I feel better now the last couple of weeks, better than I felt my entire life, better than I felt on carnivore before. Just the sleep, the mood, everything just gets better and better. It's really amazing. So
Okay, and something I've also noticed too is that when it's kind of like as you've mentioned too, the blinders get removed from your eyes, and you start seeing the world much more clearly. And I'm in the medical system. I work as a nurse
yeah.
on the hospital side of things with orthopedics. So I'm working with people who are getting the total joint replacements.
Mm,
So the people our bread and butter and the hospital I work at is the total knees and total hips.
wow.
And you're watching people and you're like, I wish I could go back and intervene and tell people like like kind of like what Dr. Baker was mentioning when he started finding out about keto and carnivore, like you telling people like, hey, maybe just change your diet and maybe you don't even need to get the surgery.
Right.
Because people might not realize this, but your mobility even after getting a total knee and a total hip is severely limited afterwards. You can't because you can easily pop the joint out of your socket. And also, like, say for example, you get an infection somehow. It happens anyway. It can happen pretty easily because you have an artificial hip or artificial knee, which has plastic or titanium or whatever the compound is. If you get an infection somehow, that bacteria can travel to that new joint, and suddenly you got potentially a very life-threatening situation there where you could lose your limb potentially because you got because bacteria really love those artificial joints. They are like attracted to it like a magnet,
Right.
and then suddenly people could lose their limb.
There's it's interesting, the whole orthopedic thing. So we have Dr. Baker as a orthopedic surgeon, and I don't know if you're familiar with this gentleman, Megan, but maybe if you're interested, check out his YouTube channel. I'll just shout him out here real quick. Dr. Rick Goding, Goding. He came to our Montello Theater and shared his story before. He's got a really good YouTube channel, but he's an orthopedic surgeon doing carnivore and advocating it for his patients, like you said, which can be a tricky thing, right? Just talking about diet to people is tricky, but he's doing it. He's like, at least if you give him the option. That's the thing that's so difficult about this is most people wouldn't even think for a second that the nutrition would be an option before having a major surgery like that.
I know you think at least it would been brought up at some point.
Right.
I mean, from most cases, I would notice like if someone is severely overweight, a surgeon might mention diet just so you can lower your weight, because the people don't realize this, the higher your weight is, the more increased risk of you developing something wrong going in the surgery, or like something goes wrong, or
Right.
like, so like they might mention it that way. But if it's just a mobility aspect side of things and you're relatively skinny, they might not bring up the whole diet thing whatsoever. And of course, people will just say, "Oh, have a balanced diet." Like, what the heck is a balanced diet? Like,
I hate hearing the balance.
What is the amount of avocados I can eat that is safe before it causes damage, or almonds or walnuts? Like, how many can I eat before it's dangerous?
Millions of species on this planet, and humans are the only ones that have to come up with this elaborate balancing act of food to eat for some reason. And meanwhile, here I am just eating meat and thriving. It's interesting with the surgery too, because Megan, I think like, sadly, none of those people would probably need any of those procedures if they were eating a proper human diet since birth, which of course is hard for anyone to do. But I often think about that. They probably wouldn't need the surgery in the first place. And now that they do need the surgery, it's like you said, they could potentially maybe avoid the surgery by still last ditch effort, changing their diet, changing their nutrition kind of thing. I know Dr. Ricks talked about that quite a bit on his YouTube channel. And when I interviewed him, people just have an excess where they're like, wow, I don't even need the surgery anymore. And it's like blows their mind. And I could totally see it, because I've talked to so many people that have had serious joint issues or back pain or things like this, myself included. I had the worst back pain ever for years, and I thought it was an injury from high school. It was just inflammation, and when I went carnivore, that pain went away. So
it's also likely it was an injury from high school, but then the inflammation never got a chance to heal, or the injury never got a chance to heal properly, and so your body was just inflamed chronically since high school.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's just the way it's always going to be, I guess. And I've talked to so many people with that too. The lower back pain goes away on carnivore.
For me, it was my knee, because I wouldn't be surprised if somehow in high school I tore my meniscus. I was part of cross country, but even then I was pretty overweight and chunky at that age.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if I had torn my meniscus in my knee at some point in high school, but never really got a chance to heal properly. And I'm back to running, and my knee doesn't hurt.
That is so cool. That's amazing. I did a short the other day. On Thursday, it was like a really long day. I had a whole bunch of phone calls and streams. And then by the end of the day, I'm like, I just got some energy. I'm going to go to the gym. I went to the gym and I was sprinting on the treadmill. And I went 1 mile and I went faster than I've gone my entire life. And I'm not saying this like pat myself on the back, but I just afterwards, I'm like, this is crazy, because before carnivore, I had congestive heart failure. I could barely stand up. I'd get dizzy, let alone run, let alone sprint for a mile. It's crazy. Another testament to carnivore.
Speaking of which, let me add this. I just ran my fastest 5K today, running wise. If I can get it pulled up on my phone, it was just over 33 minutes to run a little bit over 3 miles. Let me see.
Nice. Wow.
If my phone's working.
All right, well, Megan's looking at that. We've got another guest coming up next. And if you guys want to share your story, I'm going to repost the link here. We're doing carnivore open mic tonight. And the link is posted. And we're giving away a Healing Humanity t-shirt. But you have to post a question with hashtag ribeye. Hashtag ribeye. Megan, do you have a YouTube channel or anything you want to shout out?
I'm actually not really on that social media all that much. I try to avoid it as much as possible sometimes, because I think it's not that social media is always bad or anything like that, because obviously you and I are discussing these things through social media.
This is the only thing it's good for, in my opinion.
Exactly. But sometimes I think it can definitely be a time suck, for lack of a better way to put it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. It's the only. I joke about that, but I was saying a friend of mine wrote a book, and she coaches the Amish on carnivore and fixing their nutrition, and she's doing some amazing work. And it got me thinking, like, the Amish would never have known about carnivore without her going into those communities, because the only way I ever knew about it was from YouTube. And I think most people here would probably say the same thing. Without YouTube, I don't know that any of us would have found carnivore unless you live next door to like Dr. Baker or something. It's would have been harder to learn about it for sure.
It's one of those things where I think the more you spend time in social media, the more time you realize just how negative it can be.
Right.
I believe I might have found it. I found my running aspect on here, but I can't find the showing me just running the 5K aspect of it. But if I bring it up a little bit close.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
Yep.
That's so cool.
That's where I got part of it right there.
That's awesome. Now you got your new record you can go up against. That's kind of what I've been doing too, is like just keep trying to beat myself and go a little bit faster each time.
Speaking of which, when you were running, how fast did you run that mile?
I should look on my phone. So this probably isn't impressive for anyone out there, but it was just under 10 minutes. But like I said,
that's about as fast as my fastest mile was about 10 minutes, which is 10 minutes exactly.
So I've never run my entire life. I've never exercised. The only reference I have is when I was in high school. I remember we had to run the mile, and Jen, my wife Jen's on here. We ran the mile together. I think we walked it because I'm pretty sure I was at like 18 minutes or something like that. And that was when I was in high school, before I had all my illness. I was getting heavier then, but
and for context, 18 minutes, that's a comfortable walking pace. That's not a crazy pace, anything to consider too. So
yeah. And there's some comments. I didn't sprint the entire mile. I would sprint, and then I would run, and then I'd sprint and I'd run and sprint and run. So I just keep trying to beat my own record. But it was weird because I went at night and it was faster than I had gone before. And I just afterwards I still had more energy. So it was pretty cool. But it's something. This is all kind of new to me. Coach Lisa's in the chat right now. She's got me on a workout regimen, and every time I go in there now, I go a mile. So anyways, thank you so much, Megan, for sharing. We got some other folks that look like they're ready to share.
Absolutely, get them on here.
Yeah, really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. Thank you so much.
No problem. Bye.
Have a good night. Bye. Awesome, Megan. Thank you so much. All right. We got another guest. You guys ready? If anyone else is interested in sharing, I'm posting the link one more time. It's in the bottom. Hashtag ribeye, but you got to post a question. Tracy just posted hashtag ribeye without a question. So hashtag ribeye with a question. We're going to give away a Healing Humanity shirt. Sue just posted a question. All right, here we go. Lane, welcome.
Hey, it's me.
We are here today because of you, in large part. I was like 50-50 doing this tonight because we're getting ready to go to Canada. I'm like, let's do one more. And you had mentioned, are you going to do it again? Let's do it. So everyone thank Lane for having us do this tonight. How you doing?
Good. And you're welcome.
Where are you from?
Windsor, Ontario.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I live in near Lexington, Kentucky. So I don't have a passport. All right, come and see you.
Oh, nice. Okay, I was going to say, well, we're going to see you in a couple of days.
I almost went to Tennessee, but we had already had arrangements for that day.
Oh, that was a good one. Well, there's more coming up. You said Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we have one in Kentucky, but we'll be down in that area again at some point. Once the documentary's ready, we're planning on going to do a meetup at a small town movie theater, like every state, and then do a meetup and then show the movie. So I'm excited for that.
Cool.
So what's your story, Lane?
So grew up on the standard Canadian diet, right? I was pretty healthy growing up, but at 17, I was diagnosed with Crohn's, and it got pretty bad by 22, and they had to take out about 2 feet. So, I haven't been the healthiest since 22, but it was in remission until I was about 37. So that it kind of worked out for me. I had, some good years there. But what led to the carnivore diet was just a friend was telling me about it. Like I actually saw Chafee one time talking about, plants are going to kill you. And I just turned my cheek, of course. But, but then he started talking to me about it, and I thought, it sounds all right. And then one day I'm at work, and I called up my wife and I said, I'm starting the carnivore diet like tonight, right? Like not tomorrow, not next week, like tonight. And she said, well, good thing you told me now, because I'm at Aldi about to go in the store and buy like 2 weeks worth of groceries. So it all worked out. So that's how it got going. So I had blood pressure a couple times that was like 235 over 185. I was on 5 rounds of meds. So that looked like 3 different meds. 2 of them I took twice a day. 1 of them I took once a day. And now I'm down to half of one once a day. And I'm still on that right now. I'll get it looked at with the doctor. We'll figure that out. I had gout like you. I was on allopurinol.
Oh yeah.
My triglycerides were through the roof, and I brought those down. So I'm not on that med anymore either. So I was 213 when I started, and I got down to 159. It's like you started up higher than me, but we ended up about the same place. I think we're in that range. And then I used to get like middle back pain all the time. So that's gone. Losing my hair, of course. Now I don't know if you can see, but it's all new growth. It's actually growing back.
Oh, wow.
It's hard to see. So these are some of the healing things I'm seeing. I'm 161 the other day. My fat is gone. You know, when you lay in bed and you just go like, you lay down and your stomach it's just not there and your ribs are just sticking out. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's a good feeling. Let's see, I got 2 people on it right now. So I'm working on it.
And how long have you been going for?
Oh, sorry. 11 months.
11 months. Wow.
Yeah. 11 months. Yeah.
Do you feel like you're a lifer?
Pretty much. I mean, not that I haven't been as strict as you 100%, but I've been really, really close. Like just a cheat here or there, a weakness second here or there, but it didn't turn into like a day or days on end or anything. It was just like a single event in my life where I had maybe a cheat or something. But
right.
I talk about us like a scoop of ice cream or something. But now we make our own ice cream. Just
Kilt's ice cream.
Yeah, Bella's. I think probably
Nice.
the same. It's probably the same.
Right.
Yeah. So
That's really
cool. That's what I got going on. I mean, I've got rid of a lot of stuff. I'm healthier. I wake up in the morning like you. I jump out of bed 5 o'clock today. I get up and I'm up.
Do you look around in the world with a different perspective now?
Yeah, it's hard. It's rough. Like you actually feel so sorry for these people now. I mean, I really do. I just look at them like, how do you get along in life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you, Lane, do you have any advice? I've got a lot of new carnivores that come on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any advice for someone that's maybe considering carnivore, but they can't quite wrap their brain around it? It just sounds too insane or too crazy to them.
Yeah. So for me, the first 3 months, I was just eating meat, right? I was eating meat, but my brain was just like, this still just doesn't seem real. like it just doesn't make sense. But it took time for that to work. And one of my friends who I got on carnivore, he came down from Toronto, actually. He was here a few weeks ago. And he keeps sending me these things. Can I have this and that? It's like, well, what meat is it made out of? And I was like, it's not. It's an avocado. It's not made of a meat. So anyway, it is hard kind of wrap your mind around it, but I just made the decision. I think that was the biggest thing. I made the decision to do it, and then I just did it. And I think, yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I love that you said that, because I think that's the hardest part for most people. Yeah. And I'll get people on my channel, Lane, where it's almost like they want me to make the decision for them or help them do it. It's like, you got to do that. You got to take your life in your own hands and make the decision and go with it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people won't ever make that decision.
They won't. No, they won't. And, you know, I don't go to like a lot of parties and stuff like that. Like, I don't have that type of social influence on me. So I don't worry about what are my friends going to think. They all know. Like, my friends all, they're either going to cook me a steak or I'm bringing it. Right. And that's just the way it is. Like, I don't worry about what people are thinking either. So that might help somebody.
Right.
Try to get through those parties and festivals or whatever they got to go to. Yeah.
So, I always encourage people too. I'm like, you've been doing this. How long did you say? Almost 11 months?
Yeah. May 16th. So.
Oh, wow. You're
I'm
coming up on a
year.
year.
Yeah. I'm almost at a year now. Yeah.
Do you have any big plans for the 1 year anniversary or carniversary?
I didn't think about it.
You gotta this is what I do, Lane. Every time the day ends with a 0, I'm like, I get a ribeye now or something. You got
or a tomahawk, right?
Yeah, tomahawk. You got to do a tomahawk on 1 year for sure. That's awesome. But I was gonna say, I always tell people on Carnivore too, if you're thinking of doing this for 30 days, you should probably do 60. But if you're thinking of doing it for 30 days, it goes by so quick. Here you are, Lane. You're coming up on 1 year already.
Yeah.
30 days is like that, especially over the course of your whole life. It goes by so quick. You can do anything for 30 days.
Yeah, you can, right? Like Jordan Peterson said, I hang by my teeth for 30 days. But
right.
I think while you're in it though, that's where it's tough. And I think, you know, the support is what helps you get through that first 30 days. Right. So maybe that's another thing somebody could consider, getting into a group or getting some kind of support, because they're not going to get it from their family and friends and the people around them.
Yeah, that's a huge one. I say that, and then people are like, well, you're biased because I have the membership site. But I mostly, when I started, I was in Dr. Barry's group, but that was a couple months after I started, and it was wonderful. But mostly the community for me, it was amazing because it was free. It's just YouTube. So I tell people, like, if you don't want to join a group, you can just use YouTube. But if you go in a group like Dr. Barry's or our group or Bella's group's amazing too. You get a lot more support and you can get your questions answered, and it's a lot more versus just the YouTube, and the comments are great. Like everyone that's in the chat right now, you post a question, you're going to get an answer. So you don't have to necessarily pay for a group. But you're absolutely right, because I used to think like, this is just eat meat. What do I need a group for? But it's so hard. You're the odd one out. You're the weirdo. Yeah. Everyone's addicted to sugar, and everywhere you go, you're kind of the weird one out. And there's nuance to it too that people don't realize. Yeah. A lot of people start and they're like, just going to eat some chicken. I'm like, you got to have fat. There's different things you have to account for that a group could help you with for sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, for the most part, everybody has one of these, right? Yeah. And if everybody got something to put on their head and listen, and that's how I got through it. I just over and over, just listening to different ones, and you know, it takes you down a rabbit hole, but it keeps you focused. Yeah. Do you still do that? Like, for example, I still listen to Dr. Barry's live stream regularly, and I'm like, I don't have any questions really anymore. I think I'm pretty good 2 years in, but I still watch them. I still listen to them. I think it's therapeutic in that way. It keeps your mind on focused, because we have one focus right now when it comes to our diet and our health, right? I don't, like you say, I don't even like calling it a diet like you, but it's our way of eating, and it directly relates to our health, and that's all there is to it. Like I didn't have like any mental issues in any way. I wasn't depressed or anything like that. I wasn't like that, but I did get into funks sometimes where for some reason I just don't feel right in my head, and it would last a little bit, but it wasn't like a depression or anything. And those days are gone. So even for somebody like me who didn't feel like, it cured my depression or got rid of this problem or that problem, it still helped me even with the little things in my life. Like, I mean, I'm working at 150% now to what I was like a year ago. Right. That's one of the crazy things. I wish there was a way to really measure that, because
Yeah.
we've interviewed 46 people for the documentary, hundreds more with everything else. And that's something I hear over and over and over again. Whatever the person's success metric is in life, it increases on carnivore, because they're making better decisions, and your life is a result of the decisions you make. And they're able to work harder because they have more energy, because their body isn't spending so much energy processing all this processed food and roughage that we were never intended to eat. That takes a lot of energy. I think back, Lane, like all those years that I was always tired and plopping down on the couch, I almost wonder like how much of that was just because my body was just fatigued from processing all of that crazy junk. My stomach's just like, what is this now? What is this Dorito? What is 47 ingredients? Like, what is this? All the salad and stuff like that. Takes a toll, for sure.
I was like that. Yeah, I would come home from work and just veg on the couch and sometimes just fall asleep. But now I come home, I'm like, okay, what can I do? You know, like asking the wife, right? Like I used to be here. I used to be here. Now I'm here. Now I'm here. The whole thing. You know what I mean? It's like I feel full and complete. Like, and because even growing up, since I had Crohn's at 17, I never really had a life of full energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now I just have way more energy than I ever have. I drive almost 2 hours to work 3 days a week, there and back, there 2 hours back. And sometimes I'd have to stop and take a nap. It was crazy. So now I just drive there, do my work, drive home.
That energy you have. I'm in the world famous Montello movie theater. I love movies, and I got all these movie references in my brain, but Shawshank Redemption, where he says you can get busy living or get busy dying. I feel like on carnivore, we got busy living, where before I was busy dying, just plopping down on the couch and fatigued all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'll be 61 this year.
Nice.
And so it's taken me this long to get to this point.
Now you're just getting started now.
I am now. I know.
That energy.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
My why is I'm going to have to work to the end of my life. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm not going to get to stop working. So
you'd probably get bored anyway.
I probably would. I probably would have just kept working anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so glad you came on to share, Lane. Thank you so much. Do you have a YouTube channel or anything you want to shout out or mention?
Not yet. Nope.
Well, if you get one going, let me know. I'll be happy to shout it from the rooftops and get the word out.
All right. Sounds good.
Appreciate you coming on. Thanks for suggesting, encouraging us to do this one again. Like I said, I would love to do this every Saturday. Next Saturday, I can't because we're going to be in Toronto doing a meetup. But maybe the following Saturday, if more people are willing to share and be brave like Lane did and come on here and share your story. That wasn't that bad, was it, Lane?
See, it wasn't that hard. No. Right? I just stood here and talked. I didn't even have to stand. I sat down the whole time.
Right. Good stuff. Thank you so much, Lane. Have a great night.
All right. Thanks. You too.
Bye. Awesome. All right. I'm going to repost the link one more time if anyone else interested in sharing like Lane did there, and we're going to answer some questions in the meantime. All right, we got that one. We got a couple super chats. Thank you so much for those. Thank you, Gig. Thank you, Caleb. Appreciate that. Every penny from that goes to support the documentary. Just an update on the documentary. We're doing the whole series. We're hoping to do the whole series. So like the super chats and when people buy the shirts and all of that, I'm hoping that we could just keep doing more and more episodes because these stories just keep coming out of the woodwork. So I know there's a lot of new people on here. Some of you heard me say this a million times, but I'm more excited for the series than the documentary because we're going to have an episode on every major health issue. So if you have a loved one that's got type 2 diabetes, you could send them the Healing Humanity Diabetes episode with individuals and doctors specializing in that topic. If you have someone with cancer, you can send them the cancer episode. We're probably going to have 2 or 3 episodes on cancer alone. So really appreciate all those super chats. That all goes to support the ongoing series. All right, let's see. We got some questions here. Christy Hargrove asks, do you have any videos of carnivores getting rid of extreme anxiety? I do. And there's probably better ones out there. One thing I would suggest to you would be to check out Metabolic Mind. They have a YouTube channel. and they focus on mental health. Dr. Georgia Ede, her book is incredible. Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind. I'd highly recommend that. And then on my channel, what was the name of it? I did a big, huge compilation of videos and interviews of people that overcame anxiety, depression, PTSD, bipolar disorder. And that video was called, let me see if I can find it here. I got too many videos. I did a couple of videos on depression, but it was called Can Depression Be Cured with Carnivore? And actually, I'm going to give you the link right here, make it as easy as possible. So the link is in the chat. A whole bunch of different individuals came on and they said, I went carnivore and my depression went away. I went carnivore and my anxiety went away. I was diagnosed with bipolar type 2, went away on carnivore. Story after story after story is within the video that I just posted there. Christy, I hope that helps you. The reason I'm doing this documentary is for that reason, mental health improvements on carnivore diet. Papa Carnivore, hashtag ribeye. What is the best cure, treatment for cancer? Oh, I could talk about this forever, and we're definitely going to be talking about this in both the documentary and the series. And the reason I'm traveling to Canada in 1 week is because of my good friend Jeff DeProsperous and cancer. We never would have had cancer in the documentary if not for Jeff DeProsperous. What is the best cure, treatment for cancer? How can I say this? There will never be a medicine cure for cancer, ever. I just want to say that, first of all. I've been thinking about doing a video on this topic. I've talked about it before. Cancer is the same thing as poison ivy, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is every single day, people are going out into the woods and they're finding poison ivy and they're rubbing it all over their eyes. They're putting it in their mouth. They're eating it. They're rubbing it all over their arms. And then they're going and saying, can we get a cure for poison ivy? No, you can stop causing the poison ivy. I believe cancer is a result of, it's a metabolic disease. It's from chronic systemic inflammation for years and years. You end up with cancer. Cancer feeds on glucose and glutamine. We are causing these cancers, and then we're trying to ask for a cure for something that we're causing. If you want a cure for poison ivy, there's never going to be a medicine cure for poison ivy either. The answer is stop rubbing poison ivy all over your eyes, face, mouth, and putting it in your mouth multiple times a day for years and years and decades and decades. That's chronic systemic inflammation. So the solution to cancer is stop causing the cancer through our lifestyle and environment. I believe the majority of cancers in the world right now, 1,600 people today, 1,600 beautiful souls lost their life today and every single day because of cancer. This is me. I'm not a doctor. I'm a moron. I'm an idiot homesteader. I barely graduated high school, so take what I say with a grain of salt, but I believe the majority of cancers are caused by the foods we're eating and our environment. Microplastics, ingesting. You go out in the world right now, anywhere, and take a deep breath. You're probably breathing in glyphosate, which is patented as an antibiotic. It's a weed killer. You ingest glyphosate every time you take a deep breath of air for years and years and decades, you end up with cancer. You smoke cigarettes for years and years, decades and decades, you end up with cancer. You breathe in horrible toxins, you can end up with cancer. But I believe the majority of the cancers are from the foods we're eating. In particular, these pesticides and antibiotics that we're consuming for decades and decades. So if you are recently diagnosed with cancer, the best treatment for cancer, in my opinion, would be Professor Seyfried's metabolic therapy. And that is changing your diet, starving your cancer of glucose, and exercising and fasting and trying to limit the glutamine as much as possible. Though that's not the whole story, though. The whole story we're going to cover in the documentary because we've interviewed several. Jeff DeProsperous, we interviewed Professor Seyfried, 4 different individuals on his team that work in the cancer lab at Boston College. We interviewed Brad and Maggie Jones. We're interviewing Anthony Haydick. And we also interviewed Tammy Peterson. And I believe one of the reasons that Tammy Peterson was diagnosed with terminal cancer. And she's been in remission for several years now. And I believe a big part of that was prayer and mindset. And I think mindset is a huge thing with cancer. And it's something that's very, very difficult. If I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, I don't know how my mindset would be nothing but stress. But when you stress, you release cortisol, and cortisol converts to glucose, and glucose feeds the cancer. So stress downstream ends up feeding the cancer. But if you can just be Tammy Peterson, prayer and Zen, and keep that stress down while you're limiting your glucose and glutamine through a proper human diet and fasting, that is the ultimate treatment for cancer, in my opinion. That's what I've learned about it anyway. So thank you, Papa Carnivore. Didn't mean to go off on a rant there, but that is a great question. Deserves a good answer. 1,600 people a day. By the time we're done with this call, dozens and dozens of people have lost their life to cancer. It's a criminal tragedy, and I believe most of those 1,600 people that passed away would still be here, would not be dying, if they were eating a proper human diet since birth. Caleb's Carnivore Quest. What are good ways to get a good price on good quality beef? Meet your local farmer, shake their hand, and try to buy your meat in bulk. Go in with a neighbor if you have to. Get a half a cow, quarter cow, get it in bulk. Meet your local farmer, and then you know where your meat's coming from. You can shake their hand, and you know what's going on, and you're supporting a good independent farmer. I'm going to be meeting with my local farmer when we get back from Canada, because I'm going to be filming him again. Because I want to shout him out on YouTube again, and he's doing incredible work, and I want to film him a little bit for the documentary as well. Come here, do. Would you recommend the carnivore diet for autistic children? 100% without a doubt. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I would recommend the carnivore diet for all children. I would recommend the carnivore diet for everyone. It is a proper human diet. It's eating the most natural food we can eat, given the horrible, ruined options that we have at our disposal right now. It's literally, there's no way that you could eat better in the world right now than eating a proper human diet, a carnivore diet, in my opinion. Fruits and vegetables are all compromised. They're second best, but Patty Molden, how do you resist the temptation of movie theater goodies, especially popcorn? I have no cravings for popcorn anymore. When I first started carnivore, I did. I used to eat popcorn every night at the movie theater because I would test the popcorn. One, because the popcorn needed tested, but really, if I'm being honest, it was just because I wanted to eat more popcorn and have an excuse to do so. I don't have that temptation anymore. There was a point in my carnivore journey where a switch turned, and I no longer was eating food for entertainment or pleasure. The food is no longer a drug for me. It's no longer as if I was an alcoholic. I am abstaining from that addiction. And at one point, it just went away completely for me. I wouldn't say I'm addicted to ribeye. It's more of an appreciation. It's not like I'm jonesing for ribeye, but I love it and I appreciate it more. But I don't have that temptation or addiction to those things anymore. I know they're poison. I know they ruined my life. And let me show this graphic here one more time, because there's a lot of new people that jumped on. These were all of my health issues. And those are my reasons why. And my main reason why was my depression and anxiety that ruined the lives of my children and my family. I was a miserable, depressed, fat slob sitting on a couch. I wasn't there for my wife and my children for many, many years. And I was praying for God for any solution. And I found carnivore, and it's healed everything you see there on the screen, including my congestive heart failure. Everything has healed on carnivore. So I know, though, that if I were to go back to those things, the popcorn and the candy and the junk food, all of those things would come back. And it's not worth it for me. So everyone has a different why. Some people are doing this for different reasons, but I suffered for many, many, many years. Some horrible trauma that my body has seen. And that has created a very powerful why for me. That I've never even dipped my toe in any of those things. I'm not shaming anyone that has. I'm not patting myself on the back, but I'm over 2 years on carnivore now. I haven't had a single cheat or slip up or anything like that. The reason being because I don't want to I don't want to do that to my children and my wife. I look at this the same way as I was a horrible alcoholic for 42 years and it ruined my family's life. I ruined my family's life by being an alcoholic. So going back and drinking it's poison. Going back and drinking some more alcohol now, never going to happen. Never going to happen. Good question, though. All right, we got some really good questions here. Let's see what else we got. You can be carnivore too. Love the username there. 62-year-old bariatric surgery patient. Do I need vitamins to supplement on carnivore? Well, everybody's different, and depending on where you're getting your meat and your water and what you're consuming, you probably need to supplement a little bit. You could test and see. That would probably be the best advice, but everybody's so different. Here's an example for you. I'm different than you because I'm very blessed. Our water is from a very deep well. So it rains, the water trickles down through the ground. It picks up minerals like, say, magnesium, and I drink that water. I get a lot of magnesium. Throughout all of mankind, humans got a lot of magnesium because we were drinking water from wells or puddles or lakes or ponds or whatever, and we were getting all of those different minerals and vitamins and things like that that we needed in the water. Now most of the water is purified, or it's filtered, or it's got fluoride in it, or who knows what they're doing to it. So yes, for that reason, some people do need to supplement. Depends on your situation. It's best to probably test before you do too much. A lot of people, myself included, I supplement with D2 and magnesium because it's lacking. A lot of people say that argument. Well, if carnivore is so perfect, why do you need magnesium? Everybody needs magnesium. It's because the world has changed. But throughout most of mankind, the history of mankind, we got plenty of magnesium through the water and the meat that we would eat. Like the cow would eat stuff that would have magnesium in it. We would get a lot of it through there too. So the world has changed. So yes, you probably do need to supplement. John Barrett. I've been on carnivore diet for 2 years. Congratulations, John. I got rid of my fatty liver disease. How is this possible just from eating 2 steaks a day? Well, we got Coach Lisa in the chat, and she is the liver expert. Shout out LifeBack Systems. Love Coach Lisa. She's absolutely incredible. She mentioned, she looked over my blood work, John Barrett, the other day, and she said, Carrie, you probably had fatty liver. And, you know, a lot of people on that video were commenting. They're like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. You didn't have fatty liver. Well, in the interim, just a couple days ago, I was going through, I'm trying to organize all of my blood work and medical records because I have like 5 different portals. You got to log into this one, log into this one. Well, I logged into one I hadn't logged into a while. And one of the first things I saw was I was having stomach discomfort. I went into the doctor and they checked me, and I was diagnosed with fatty liver disease as well. That sheet that I just showed you guys with all of those health issues I had, that didn't have fatty liver on it. I got to add it to that. That's in my medical records. I was diagnosed by a doctor with fatty liver disease. And I could guarantee you right now, haven't had it tested again, but if I did, I no longer have fatty liver disease. You are eating your proper human diet. You are going to heal everything, including that fatty liver disease. I'm going to look down in the chat because I know Coach Lisa has a lot to say about that as well. We got a question from Gregory. When will the documentary be coming out? We filmed 46 interviews. We filmed a couple people over the course of a year, Bill not included. So you got to wait a whole year. That makes the documentary take a lot longer. We have a handful more of interviews to do that we're doing this year, and we're wrapping up hopefully the editing and everything for the documentary by the end of the year, and the documentary's coming out next year. I know that's a long time, and a lot of people want to see it now, but following people over the course of a year takes a year for each of those people. So most documentaries take much longer than this, but we're on the home stretch, and we not only have all of the footage we need, minus just a couple more interviews we're doing to finish the documentary. We have enough footage to finish several episodes of the series I mentioned, including a whole episode on cancer. We've got enough interviews to complete that whole series. We're prioritizing the editing because it's incredibly expensive. Most people doing a documentary to this caliber with almost 50 interviews now, the budget would be like $1 million or more. And you guys can Google that if you don't believe me. You can look it up. I was just listening to an interview the other day with a director that was saying you can't do any movie for under $1 million now if you want anybody to watch it, versus if you're just doing something on your phone. We're doing this with Netflix approved cameras and traveling all around the world and capturing stories. We were in the UK, we were in Australia, we've been in Canada, we've been all over the United States. So it'll be worth the wait. And Gregory, we have a new trailer coming up soon. That's one of the next things we're working on, is a new trailer showing all of we filmed 9 doctors experts so far, and 46 interviews. So we got a new trailer coming up to show some of that. Patty says, I am healed from severe IBS, severe anxiety, and suicidal depression. Rheumatoid arthritis, a little bit underweight now, but my visceral fat is 4 and my physical age is 50. 8 years younger than my 58. Patty, congratulations. Good job. Look in the mirror and be proud of yourself that you put yourself on a path to healing and overcame all of those things. When I hear about other people, Patty, like yourself, that went through horrible suicidal depression and severe anxiety, you are a sister. There's a kinship there with others that have gone through that depression and come out the other side. You've got a second chance at life now. It's incredible. So amazing. Thank you for sharing the good news. Sheila Walker asks, how can I break my addiction to sweeteners? I'm 60 years old and I have been on carnivore since 4224. I am down 70 pounds. Good job, Sheila. Off blood pressure medications. I have PCOS and many back issues. Sheila, here's one thing I would suggest. You said you've been carnivore. Maybe try doing strict carnivore for 30 days without those sweeteners. Break that addiction. My best advice that I tell people, Sheila, is this. If you're going to do carnivore and you're committing to 30 days, do it for 30 days and abstain from those sweeteners. Abstain from them. So many people, Sheila, I see they do really strict carnivore and they keep sweeteners in, and they perpetuate that sugar addiction. Even though you've got these fake sweeteners or these sweeteners that aren't really sugar, or they're keto approved or whatever, a lot of these perpetuate that addiction. And I see it over and over and over again. And people that keep those things, they end up struggling, and they end up saying to me, Carrie, why is this so hard? Why are you able to abstain, but I can't abstain? And it's because they haven't fully abstained. If you were an alcoholic and you were quitting alcohol, you wouldn't have a little bit of non-alcoholic beer or a little bit of watered down beer every now and then. You would be much better off abstaining 100%. So that would be my advice to you to break that addiction. Commit to 30 days, write down your why. It's going to be a little struggle and a little suffer initially, but you can do anything for 30 days. Get over that addiction. You're going to feel so much better. You're not going to have those cravings anymore, and it'll be a thing of the past, but you have to commit to it. 30 days, strict. No messing around. You said you're doing carnivore too, so do strict carnivore for 30 days with no sweeteners and see how you feel. Harlan asks, can it work for someone that has had Hodgkin's lymphoma? I don't know a better thing to do than eat a proper natural human diet that's going to eliminate all the inflammation from your body. When you have cancer, it feeds on glucose. You're eliminating glucose. I don't know of anything better you could do in the world going through something like Hodgkin's lymphoma. I can't think of anything other than prayer. Anything that you can do with your body would be to do a carnivore diet, do a proper human diet, return to what's natural, get rid of all of that inflammation, heal everything else, get the energy that you deserve to have so your immune system can be strong. If I had a loved one or myself or anyone I knew that was diagnosed with that, 100% I would encourage them to not only do a carnivore diet, but I would encourage them to visit Professor Thomas Seyfried. Anyone watching now, if you have a loved one that was diagnosed with cancer, you want to learn more, you can Google Professor Thomas Seyfried, Boston College. His webpage will come up. His email address is on there. You can email him and you can say, I have this type of cancer. Can you send me a packet? And depending on the type of cancer you have, he will send you a packet all about treating cancer as a metabolic disease with metabolic treatments and treating it with metabolic therapy. He will give you specific insights. So I encourage anyone to do that. He's got a whole team of people working over there. He's the work that Professor Seyfried is doing The guy should win a Nobel Prize. It's absolutely incredible. He's been talking about this stuff for 30 years now. We've known about this since Otto Warburg 100 years ago. Cancer is a metabolic disease. It feeds off of glucose. 100%. Hope that answered your question, Harlan. Thank you for that. If you have a question, post it with hashtag ribeye. We're going to be giving away a Healing Humanity t-shirt in just a couple minutes. Hashtag ribeye with your best question. Kimberly, how long have you been carnivore? I have been carnivore for 775 days. 775 of the best days of my entire life. Best day of my life was when my children were born, but now I'm actually here and present and in the moment for my children. Jody says, what is the best way to deal with a PCP that does not think carnivore is a good idea? She sent me to a nutritionist who is pushing fiber and go gluten and dairy-free. Hashtag ribeye. Jody, if I were you, I would find a new PCP. I would be shopping for a new doctor. You could try to educate your doctor. That's a good thing to do, but you might be wasting your time, and you need to focus on your own health depending on your situation. But I would also be asking why. Why is carnivore not a good idea? Give me specifics, not just generalities. But there are some really amazing, a lot of them coming out, keto, carnivore-friendly doctors that are getting it. Shout out Rivero.com, Dr. Baker, too. He's got a whole telehealth thing. You can go on there and get a doctor that is keto, carnivore-friendly. So that could be an option as well. But I would, if I were you, I'd be shopping for a new doctor. M.E. Ramos, victory belongs to Jesus. Question, do you use butter much with your meals? I use it for a snack or in my hot water drink. I do, depending on what I'm eating. If I'm not eating a really fatty piece of meat, I will supplement with butter. I prefer the butter cold. Melted butter causes stomach issues for a lot of people, myself included. Shout out Bella. I learned that from watching Bella's channel. Cold butter. And so good, too. If you have like a New York strip, or maybe you're having a little filet mignon. There's like no fat on there. Have a little slab of butter next to it. I'll slice up the butter. I'll almost have a little piece of butter with every bite of that steak. Absolutely 100%. Love the butter. Jen, too. Jen's like turning into Bella, just eating sticks of butter. Butter with all the meals for sure. It's so good for you. Patty Chaser, $11.11 super chat. Thank you, Patty, for that. We really appreciate that. All of that goes 100% to our documentary efforts. I was desperate, and I was in a 2-day fast when I discovered carnivore and dove in. I got immediate relief from IBS, anxiety, suicidal depression, high school weight now. I'm thankful. God bless all. Thank you so much for sharing that, Patty. Amazing, amazing. So happy you found healing. And now if you're going to do another 2-day fast, you started carnivore doing a 2-day fast. So much easier fasting once you've been on carnivore for a while. Thank you for sharing that good news, Patty Chesser. Crappy addicted. I got my brother on it. Can it help with seizures? 1,000%. 1,000%. I've heard of several people overcoming seizures. I interviewed a gentleman on my channel. Let me find that video for you. That's all he does. That's all he does is he had horrible seizures, and Carnivore Diet cured his seizures, and now he's coaching people on how to overcome their seizures. And people are starting a carnivore diet in order to just get some relief from these horrible seizures. These seizures can be so horrible that people can't even drive a car anymore. They can't live their normal lives anymore. That gentleman's name was, let me see if I can find that specific video and I'll link to it here. Oh man, I've done too many videos. Daniel, here's the video. Daniel suffered from debilitating seizures for years until he changed his diet. He's now seizure-free, medication-free, and thriving for 7 years on carnivore. He's got a website, naturalseizurecontrol.com, and he coaches people to overcome their seizures on a carnivore diet. Really, really cool guy. I will paste a link to that video below if you want to watch it, or send it to your brother that is having the seizures. 100% it can help with seizures. In fact, a ketogenic diet's been used to treat seizures. I think it's one of the earliest uses of a ketogenic diet. My neighbors who are Amish, they're the coolest people in the world. They saw me after I was doing carnivore for a couple of months. William, his name's William. He said, "Kerry, what the heck happened to you? You look like half yourself." And I told him I went on a carnivore diet. He said, "What's a carnivore diet?" I said, "Oh, how do I explain this? I just eat meat." I said, "Do you know what a keto diet is?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, we use that in the Amish community." He said, "I have a cousin that has seizures, and so she's been doing keto for years." They've used ketogenic diets in the Amish community for decades and decades. It goes way, way, way back. It was one of the earliest treatments was a ketogenic diet. Question: do you have any flare-ups with the Crohn's since starting carnivore? So there was a gentleman that we had on, Lane, if you could answer that one. I was actually diagnosed with Crohn's disease at 15 years old, but I believe it was a misdiagnosis, because about 6 years later, I was having a colonoscopy and the guy was like, "I don't think you had Crohn's looking at your stomach here." So I don't know if I had it. I had a lot of symptoms of Crohn's. I will tell you this, Dr. Chafee, incredible. He has worked with countless people that have overcome Crohn's disease on a carnivore diet. I'm going to misquote this. I don't want to misquote it, but I swear he said something like 99.9% of people that actually do carnivore, and they're actually doing carnivore properly, overcome Crohn's. It's like every single one of them. Hopefully I'm not misquoting that. Was he talking about IBS? I'm pretty sure he was talking about Crohn's. So I haven't had any flare-ups or any issues on carnivore. Nothing. Christy Hargrove, is Ultima electrolytes good to drink while doing carnivore? I'm not familiar with that typical brand, but I would suggest that a lot of people need electrolytes, especially when starting out with carnivore. I still take electrolytes. I still take magnesium. So absolutely, yes. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of these things that humans have had since the start of time, for as long as we've been breathing air and drinking water, as Dr. Ken Berry says, we've been having magnesium, except for now, just this little sliver of time we call the standard American diet, this recent time. We don't have access to the minerals that we used to, because somehow man, with our big brains, we've managed to somehow ruin water. Like, I find that hilarious that of all the things that we're destroying as humans, how did we manage to ruin water? We've done it. Not only does most water have microplastics in it, it's devoid of these essential minerals that have been in water for as long as we've been breathing air. It's gone. We've managed to destroy it. So I'm sorry. I don't know why I find that hilarious. That water is just such a simple thing. We've got fluoride in it now, and microplastics in it now, and probably runoff glyphosate and pesticides that end up in it as well. And none of the minerals that are like some of the most important parts of the water, those aren't in there anymore. It's like, how can we screw things up so bad? There's a comedian, Louis C.K. I used to watch, and he did this one, this is why I'm laughing. He did this one thing where he was talking about God coming back and saying to humans, "What did you do? What did you do?" And God's looking down, and there's like an oil spill, and there's oil everywhere, and people are all driving around in cars, and he's like, "Why are you driving in cars?" And they're like, "To go to work." "Why are you going to work?" "So I can buy food." "What about the stuff that was just there I gave you? There was food right there I gave it to you." Like, why did you screw everything up? And it's funny because it's true. And I don't know, things that have a hint of truth to them are oftentimes funny, but it's also kind of depressing at the same time that as humanity, as far as we've come, we've put men on the moon. We've managed to screw up one of the most simple things that is so important to humans, and that is water. We've managed to completely screw it up in multiple different ways. It's completely messed up. Big brain humans. Jackie from Indiana was curious if fasting would help me heal faster after surgery. I don't want those gross drains any longer than I have to. Coach Lisa could probably talk about that a little bit more, but I would say yes, because when you fast, you get into that deep therapeutic state of ketosis, and the healing that happens when you're in that deep therapeutic state of ketosis is just incredible. Plus, you're not eating food that's going to cause any inflammation. If you're doing carnivore, you're pretty much eliminating most of the inflammation, but you can eat chicken and things like that and still get inflammation, or pork. When you get into that fasting and you're in that deep therapeutic state of ketosis, it is amazing what goes on inside your body and what heals. So I would suggest, yes, Jackie, absolutely. Fasting is so good for you. Z-Rocks, yo, I found your video about 2 weeks ago. Decided to give it a go. In 9 days now, no longer need to take medication for my inflammation because it's gone. Crazy. Been on medication since 2013. Z-Rocks, you rock. That is amazing to hear. I'm so happy to hear that your inflammation went away. You're just getting started at 9 days in. That is incredible. I have heard that story over and over again. Nobody believes it, though. They think carnivore is a weight loss solution. You get rid of that inflammation, your brain fog is going to go away. That inflammation that you got rid of, Z-Rocks, I want you to just think about this for a moment. One of the most dangerous things to mankind in this world right now is inflammation. And you look around in the world right now, and everybody's walking around with inflammation. That you could see it in their hands, you could see it in their face. And if you could see it in their hands and their face, what's going on in their body? What's that inflammation doing internally? You talk about carnivore diet and people are like, I'm worried about your cholesterol. And meanwhile, they're eating Twinkies and their body's fully inflamed. And when you have chronic systemic inflammation, you end up with all of these chronic diseases. That's the root cause of heart disease. The number one killer is heart disease. It's from inflammation and insulin resistance, diabetes, dementia, Alzheimer's, cancer, vision problems, IBS, all of these things. It's from the foods we're eating, and that inflammation goes away. You should be celebrating your inflammation going down because it means that you're far less likely to get any of these horrible diseases that are all a result of chronic inflammation for years and years and years. Plus, your brain fog is going to start going away. Z-Rocks, you're going to start being like, man, I can think so much more clearly now. I read a book and everything's absorbing, and I've got more energy and all of this stuff. You'll start realizing, too, that these aches and pains that you had for so long, those will go away, too. Pain in your lower back, oh, my elbow hurts every now and then, all that stuff's going to go away because you're getting rid of that inflammation. Good job, Z-Rocks. It just gets better and better. Stay true, though, my friend. Stay true. It's easy to have some healing after 2 weeks or a month on carnivore and then be like, I'm just going to go back to moderation now. All that inflammation will come back. Cobra says, Coach Lisa, almost 2 years and I haven't lost a pound. I've gained 8 pounds and my measurements have gone up. Any suggestions? Coach Lisa's awesome. She can help you with that one. What I always suggest to people, if you're stalled out and you feel like you should be losing some more weight, it's probably dairy. But the other thing I would caution people with is carnivore is really not to lose weight. It heals everything else, and then as a byproduct, your weight will go down. There's some people, I'm not saying this is you, Cobra 96100, but there's some people that maybe feel like they need to lose weight, and I often wonder, do you? Or is your body happy where it's at? I don't know your situation, so I'm not commenting on your situation. I'm talking about myself or others that feel like they need to continue losing weight or they need to microdose a GLP-1 medication to just get those last 5 pounds off. And it's like, do we need to do that? I've got a little pouch going on here. A lot of it's my loose skin from when I was 100 pounds heavier, but I got a little bit of body fat. I mean, I'm happy to have that on me. God forbid I ever get cancer or some sickness. That's my fuel to fast in the future. That is ancestrally appropriate, having a little bit for some people. But I'm not talking about you, Cobra 96100. I don't know what your situation is at all. I'm sure Coach Lisa can comment on that one too. Matthew just started carnivore 23 days ago. Congratulations. Rodney Payne, how long did it take for your heart to heal and get off of metoprolol? I got off of metoprolol. I got off of flecainide. I got off of atorvastatin. There's about 3 more in here. Here's the atorvastatin. There's about 3 more in here that I think I took for my heart. How long did that take? Well, that's a great question, Rodney Payne. I don't know. What I can tell you is that after 1 year, it was almost exactly 1 year on carnivore, I finally was able to get an appointment to get in with the cardiologist and get my heart checked out. And it was after 1 year on carnivore that I had the official sign off from my doctor saying, I no longer have evidence of cardiomyopathy. My congestive heart failure reversed. My ejection fraction was 44. It went to 60. And my lifelong irregular heartbeat reversed. It's gone. 48% of my heartbeats prior to carnivore were premature. That is completely gone on carnivore. So I learned about that at 1 year. If I had to guess, Rodney, I would say around 8 months on carnivore, I really started noticing. I remember saying to Jen, we were at church on Sunday, and I went to stand up because at church, you stand up and you sing and you sit down, and you stand up and you sing and you sit down, and you do that over and over again. And I told this story, but I'm going to tell it again real quick. That was my constant. And before carnivore, I would go to church, I'd stand up and I'd get dizzy. And I'd have to hold the pew in front of me, and Jen would hold my arm, and it was this big procedure. I'd be like, oh, every time I'd stand up, the room would spin, I'd get dizzy. And that's about 6 to 8 months into carnivore. I'm bad with dates. I noticed at church that that didn't happen. And I said to Jen, this is crazy. Not only am I not dizzy, I'm like jumping up out of the pew. Like I could literally jump up into the air right now, and I couldn't barely stand up before, and I was getting dizzy. And that was when I said, after that went on for a while, and then I started exercising more, and my energy, I could walk around, I could run. That was when I'm like, I think I've reversed my congestive heart failure. And they told me when I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure that I would never reverse it. They told me at the very best, it's going to stay the same, but it's probably just going to get worse. And that was not true. They told me it was chronic. It was not chronic. It is completely reversed for me. And by the way, I've done several videos on this. I've had so many comments. I know they're all anecdotes. They're all anecdotes. I've had so many anecdotes, dozens and dozens of anecdotes of people saying that their heart healed on carnivore as well. Their congestive heart failure reversed, or their irregular heartbeat went away on carnivore. Dozens and dozens of anecdotes. Sorry, I'm a little obnoxious today. Coach Lisa has several healed on carnivore for Crohn's disease. Coach Lisa is doing free blood work this month. Coach Lisa is awesome. Lifebacksystem.com. Check out Coach Lisa. She went over my blood work with me the other day, and my smart scale readings, which was really, really fun video. A lot of people were really enjoyed that video. Thank you, Coach Lisa. Hey, by the way, Coach Lisa, and everyone watching, I don't know if everyone knows this, but Coach Lisa went over all my blood work. I did more blood work in the meantime. I just got it done, and I'm waiting for the final results to come in. The reason I did more blood work is because my doctor ordered my blood work, and in my opinion, as an idiot homesteader that doesn't know much, she didn't order all of the tests that I would like to have. And I asked her to too, and she still didn't do it. I wanted to get an advanced lipid panel because I've interviewed Dr. Philip Ovadia, heart surgeon, who's performed thousands of surgeries, and he said, it's not the quality, it's not the quantity of the cholesterol that matters, it's the quality. And you can check the quality with an advanced lipid panel. So long story short, Coach Lisa, I have since went in a couple days ago, I got more blood work done. I did the do-it-yourself, the Quest Labs, where you could just go on the website, order it, and you don't need to go into the doctor's office. So I redid my regular lipid panel, my basic lipid panel, and I got an advanced lipid panel. I also got my testosterone tested because I'm like, what the heck? Let's just see what that is too. And I did all of the other metabolic markers just because I wanted to see, this was 2 weeks apart. I did these two tests, and I wanted to see how much variability there was. I did the tests, fasted both times, eating the exact same food. The day before I fasted, nothing, they should be exactly the same. Here's a little spoiler alert. There's some that are drastically different, which goes to show you that some of these numbers are just, I don't know. Take them with a grain of salt. Some of these numbers that people will get carnivore blood work done. A lot of people make the mistake, by the way. They'll get their blood work done too soon on carnivore, while their body is still switching from burning fat, from burning sugar for fuel to burning fat. They're not in homeostasis. Their body hasn't settled down now, and they'll do it too early. But sometimes they'll get a crazy number and they'll just flip out. And I really believe in some of those cases that if they would go back like I did 2 weeks later, that number may be drastically different. For what reason? I don't know. The accuracy of the test. Maybe you did something a little bit differently. Maybe you exercised a little bit more and the numbers are different. I don't know. Some of these numbers are very important, and some of them I take the stance of Dr. Kill. It's like, does it matter if I'm feeling incredible and everything else looks good? And then you got to decipher all of these, which Coach Lisa does an excellent job of, by the way, because our chemistry as carnivores is a lot different than the chemistry of the standard American diet. And those ranges they give you on all those blood tests, they're based on people on the standard American diet for the most part. That's the majority of humanity is just eating whatever. The majority of humanity aren't carnivores eating like I'm eating, and we're using their scale. Kaleidoscope Mind. Do we really need breakfast? Well, there's going to be some people that are going to be smart in the comments, and they're going to say, breakfast, that just means you're breaking your fast. It just means whatever meal you eat first. So if you're eating at lunchtime, technically that's breakfast. I'm not going to say that, though. No, you don't need breakfast. You don't need to eat first thing in the morning. You need to eat when you're hungry. I don't eat breakfast. I used to eat breakfast on the standard American diet because all of the messaging I got was breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I remember I used to grab like a Pop-Tart or something because in my stupid brain, I'm like, it's so important that I eat breakfast. I better eat something. I got nothing. Just grab this Pop-Tart or some cereal or some junk. I only eat now when my body tells me I'm hungry, and I can listen to my body because I'm a carnivore, and those messages are so much more clear now. I never eat breakfast. Well, sometimes Jen will make me bacon and eggs, which is awesome. Thanks, Jen, by the way. But for the most part, I'm usually not hungry till like 11 or noon. And then sometimes I'll eat bacon and eggs around 11 or noon. So we need bacon and eggs. We don't need to eat a meal immediately in the morning because we've been brainwashed over and over again that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, which, by the way, was bought and paid for by Kellogg's. They spent a ton of money putting out magazine articles and newspaper articles. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Just a couple of years ago, that was on Sesame Street. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. We're telling kids this now as they're walking down the cereal aisle and they're eating their heart-healthy Cheerios filled with glyphosate, antibiotics, and pesticides, and sprinkling sugar over the top of it. So important that we do that. We got a lot of comments. Let's see where the next question is here. Hey, we got Big Bubba on here. Lynn Tucker, carnivore. Have a great night. Rest of the night. Ribeye Ranger and I are going to get ready for bed. We're on the carnivore early to bed, early to rise plan. Have a good night, Lynn Tucker, carnivore. Thank you so much. Did you guys know that for those of you that are new here, my mom and stepdad are both carnivore, and I think they just hit 2 years, which is incredible. Shout out Mom if you're watching. Mom posted something on Facebook the other day. She posted why she's not eating vegetables. It was a really cool comment or message, I should say, about why she's not eating vegetables anymore. And someone said something like, yeah, I heard someone about HomesteadHow talking about that. And then my mom was like, that's my son. My son, Carrie. So that was pretty cool. But I think I was just talking to Jen earlier today after I read that. I'm like, isn't it so cool that my mom and stepdad, 2 years later, they're absolutely thriving on carnivore still? I love seeing that. Aunt B said, Maria, Dr. Kimberry's wife, I think, had it. Watch his YouTube verify. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what that was in reference to. I know Nisha had Hashimoto's. Maybe that was what you guys were talking about. Christian has been carnivore since the new year. My life has changed forever. I'm down 60 pounds and feel better than ever. Oh, Christian, congratulations. Hey, Christian, by the way, look yourself in the mirror and be proud of yourself because you're awesome. You did something, Christian, that most people will never do. Most people will never make that hard decision that we were talking about earlier in the stream. The hardest part of starting carnivore is making the decision to start it. Most people will never start it. Blue Water Baboon. Carrie, what's the best way to introduce my mom to Lisa's program? Lifebacksystem.com is her website. If you're a member on healinghumanity.life, Coach Lisa has 2 courses in there. They're free for anyone that's in there. That's part of the membership. So you could check those out as well. And I'm sure Coach Lisa can post her email address if she'd like in the chat as well. Rachel, ooh, nice comment here. Same with Carrie, pushing farmer meat. I'm not pushing farmer meat. I'm just suggesting if you have the option of visiting a local farm and getting your meat, I would suggest doing that over the grocery store. If it were me and I didn't live next door to a farm, I would drive probably 3 hours to a farmer, and I would bring a cooler with, and I would pack the cooler, and I'd stock up for the month, and I'd shake the hand of my farmer instead of just going to the grocery store. But I realize not everyone can do that. And the meat we get from the grocery store is 1,000,000 times better than eating the standard American diet. Dr. Ken Berry explains that. I love Dr. Ken Berry. And isn't a Nazi carnivore. I guess I'm a Nazi carnivore for simply suggesting that you might want to go to a local farmer and know where your meat is grown. I support my local farmer, Rachel, because he's one of the hardest working people I know. And without him, we're going to be living in a world where the only option we have is feed lot beef, factory raised farm. My local farmer is a 6th generation farmer, and he works 12-hour shifts at a chicken processing plant. And then he comes home and he works like another 12 hours. I swear, I think it's full 24 hours of work. The guy sleeps like 2 hours. Middle of the night, middle of the morning, he's working for pennies on the dollar. I don't know if the next generation is going to be raising their hand to say, oh, let me do that. Let me be the next farmer. And then where are we going to be left with? I am not suggesting everybody has to only eat farm meat. I was simply suggesting if you have the option, that's what I would suggest. You could do whatever you want. It's really cool meeting a farmer too. My neighbor farmer is the most passionate person in the world. Anyone that goes to his farm, he'll be like, you want to go on a tour? Let's go on a tour. We can run around the farm, show you where everything is. All of his cows, he's named all of the cows. He is a good steward of the land. I want to live in a world, by the way, where we change all of this, where we look around in Wisconsin right now, and it's just miles and miles of cornfields so that we can have high fructose corn syrup so that we can continue to make all of this ultra-processed garbage that we're poisoning our children with. Let's get rid of those cornfields, put in grass fields, and have cows naturally grazing on there. And all of those subsidies that we're sending to those corn fields to make ultra-processed garbage that's poisoning this next generation. Let's give those subsidies to our farmers, like my neighbor who's a 6th generation farmer who's literally working for pennies. He's barely getting by. He's got to have a full-time job just so they keep the lights on at night. You guys have any thoughts on that? Wouldn't you like to see that? The whole Make America Healthy Again. If the government were to do something, let's subsidize and support these farmers, because I do think about that. That weighs on my heart. My neighbor, Aaron, when he decides he's done farming, what next generation is going to raise their hand and say, yeah, I'll work for 40 cents an hour so that I can raise meat properly, so people can have properly raised grass-fed, grass-finished beef in a regenerative farm, doing it all right without a bunch of chemicals? I'll do that for 43 cents an hour. No one's going to do it. Amada says, my son has autism. He seems hard to figure out how to get him to eat new items. I was going to try some of the Chris Cooking Nashville recipes to disguise carnivore keto foods. Hey, that might be a good bridge for your son, Amada. I probably would have suggested the same thing. It gets tricky when we have these look-alike foods for people that are trying to overcome an addiction, but they can be a good bridge for many people that are trying to make their way into carnivore. And I'm sure after doing that maybe for a while, your son will start to enjoy some of these things more, or find different things that he likes. The big thing in our house that everyone seems to like is the Power Bowl. Scrambled eggs, ground beef, bacon, all mixed together in a bowl. Dingle said instead of birthday cakes, we could do birthday steaks. Absolutely. Emma made me a birthday quiche with a candle in it. Hey, Dante's in the chat. Shout out Ferrigno Freedom. Dante Ferrigno. We wouldn't be here. I got to embarrass Dante every time, but I got to speak the truth. It's important. I wouldn't be here right now if not for Dante Ferrigno. We wouldn't be doing this documentary, and I wouldn't be having this live stream right now because I would probably be 300 pounds depressed on my couch if I hadn't succumbed to my mental health or a heart attack at that point. Dante Ferrigno is incredible. We filmed Dante for our documentary too, by the way. Everyone, if you guys aren't subscribed to Ferrigno Freedom, you're missing out. And Dante and his amazing wife, Katie, have been doing a weekly live stream Wednesday nights. Check out Ferrigno Freedom. Make sure you're subscribed. I told Dante this before. I don't know if I'm overstepping, but I want to live in a world where Dante is doing this YouTube full time. Dante is made to do this. He is so inspiring. He speaks the truth. His YouTube channel is incredible. His live streams have been amazing. But I have heard so many people, myself included, that because like Dr. Barry's incredible, Dr. Chafee's great, Dr. Kiltz is amazing. But had I seen any of those good doctors, Dr. Tony Hampton, Dr. Barry, if I just came across Dr. Barry before I was carnivore, I don't think I would have started carnivore. I needed someone that I could relate to, an individual. I had no trust for these doctors, none whatsoever. I saw Dante's story and I'm like, he is speaking my words. He has my depression. He has my stomach issues. He was taking words right out of my mouth. And so I could resonate with Dante. And that is what convinced me to ultimately seek out Dr. Barry and learn more that way and have some trust down that road. But I never would have started carnivore. I really believe that if not for Dante sharing his story. And I have heard that over and over and over and over again. Let me just see this here real quick. One of the things that really got me with Dante was he was doing push-ups. And that alone was impressive because I'm like, man, I don't exercise at all anymore. This guy's exercising. And he looked in the camera and he said, it's amazing what's happening to my body right now. And you could just see no truer statement was ever spoken than that one. You could just see the amazement in his eyes as he said, it's amazing what's happening to my body right now, just transforming. I just posted, you guys got everyone here's got to be on watching Ferrigno Freedom, right? Well, just in case you're not, I posted it in the chat. Anyone here that is a friend of HomesteadHow and Carrie, please go subscribe to Ferrigno Freedoms. Give him some love. That guy's incredible. I'm rambling now, but the point I was trying to get to was I always ask people, how'd you find carnivore? And the number of people, the combination of Ferrigno Freedom, Dr. Barry is at the top. That permutation, there's a lot of different ways that people ended up wrapping their brain around it, but I've heard that one so many times. And it's usually Dante Ferrigno is first on that because as an individual, he inspired them. Amanda from Carnivorous Me is another one that's inspired a lot of people. Anita, Ketogenic Woman, huge inspiration as well. Anita, I had her on my channel way back. I love Anita. She's amazing. Everyone go flood Dante's channel. Hey, speaking of incredible people, we got Amy Hosp, a carnivore created in secret. Hi, y'all. How's Bean Dip doing, Amy? Amy's one of my favorite people. She's incredible. I have been so blessed on this carnivore journey, getting to meet so many people. And I tend to like people that have big hearts. And you can tell when someone has a big heart. Dante has a huge heart. Dante's motivations for sharing his story on his channel are nothing but pure. He has a big heart. He wants other people to find the healing that he's had. And Amy is very similar in that regard. So is Coach Lisa, by the way. But Amy's very similar in that regard. Amy has a huge heart. And Amy has been through, I look at Amy like, you know, when you see, I love our veterans, servicemen and women that have served. And then you hear about like a prisoner of war, someone that's been through something so horrible and you just can't imagine it. When I think of Amy, I think of there's not many humans on this planet that have been through the trauma and suffering that her body has been through with all of her diagnoses that she's had over the course of her life. Her story is just incredible. I was blessed to have her on my channel a while ago, and she's got her own channel, A Carnivore Created in Secret. So everyone go check out Amy as well. Amy's awesome, and I think the reason I love Amy so much too is she's got my sense of humor. We joke around a lot. Amy and I do. And her car, she named her van Bean Dip. That's the funniest thing in the world to me. We were talking about doing a short horror movie called Bean Dip, starring her van. When we're done with the documentary, maybe. We have priorities. Sisse said, I hope the documentary will change the world for the better. No pressure, right? Well, in all honesty, I am confident that the documentary will change the world for the better, but not because of me or anything that I've done. This is so much bigger than me. I am so fortunate. I am so blessed to be in a position. I look at myself as a conduit for sharing these stories. That is my job. It's bigger than me. It's not about me at all. I have to go there, set up the camera, ask the questions, get the story, but ultimately it's these individual stories, stories like Dante Ferrigno. Dante's story has already changed the world. It's changed my life. It's changed the 45 people we interviewed in the documentary that we wouldn't have interviewed had Dante not shared his story initially. His story is going to be in the documentary, but I've already watched the documentary several times in my head. And some of these stories, Bill Knott, incredible. Maggie, Rancher Maggie, Mimi diagnosed with Parkinson's, Jeff the Prosperous, I just watched his entire episode. There's about 40 other stories like that as well. Bill Cook said you can start throwing out a couple previews on YouTube for advertising. Well, yes. And a lot of people, I ended our live stream, was that this one? Last week with the trailer. And I was amazed at how many people were like, I'd never seen it. That's so good. That's amazing. So maybe we'll show that again. But I will say this, besides that 3-minute trailer, we already have 2 other 3-minute clips that we're going to be sharing. One of them is with Pastor Jimmy and Annette. Some of you may have seen that if you came to a meetup, but we've never shown it on YouTube. The other one is with the amazing, the wonderful Dr. Robert Kiltz. It's his story, 3 minutes of that. And we're working on, which will be the 4th teaser trailer that's going to be all about the documentary. And that we'll be showing on YouTube and elsewhere as well. But if anybody wants to watch that teaser trailer that Jordan Peterson tweeted out for us, which still blows my mind, if you go to healinghumanity.movie, you can watch that trailer starring Bill Knott. I think that was last week I showed that. I was so surprised at how many people said that was the first time they ever saw that. Because we've been sharing that for a long time. But I get it. There's a lot of new people on YouTube. I just posted the link for our teaser trailer. If anyone wants to watch it, it's 3 minutes. Let me know what you think if you watch it. Coach Lisa, fatty, sluggish liver affects your entire health. However, there is so much hope to reverse the situation. Coach Lisa, the thing that still blows my mind when we talk about the liver is I had no idea how instrumental and important the liver is and overlooked the liver is until learning more from Coach Lisa. But the other thing that blows my mind is the fact that there are children walking around in the world at unprecedented numbers right now with fatty liver disease. It's criminal. It is absolutely insanity. Insanity. And it's all from the foods they're eating. Foods. Jennifer, I lost 65 pounds and have kept it off for 6 years. Good job, Jennifer. That's amazing. Shout out Laura Spath. She's also in our documentary. You know why I love Laura Spath? She's got an incredible YouTube channel. Her husband, Chris, has an amazing story of his own. Chris is in our documentary as well. But the thing that's so great about Laura is she's been doing carnivore, I think, for 6 years as well, or maybe a little bit longer. And she's really perfected maintaining carnivore, because a lot of people find healing on carnivore and then they're like, well, I'll just go back to moderation right now. And they end up failing. You've been doing it for 6 years, which is great. You also have psoriatic arthritis that you're trying to get pain relief from. I hope that's going well on carnivore. So you're 6 years in. I hope that's going well for you. I don't know exactly what you're eating or what you're doing, but my advice, if you're still suffering from the severe psoriatic arthritis after 6 years on carnivore, is maybe try for 30 days to do lion diet. That would be my advice for you. There may be something in there that's still causing some inflammation or causing your arthritis to flare up, even though you're doing strict carnivore. I'm not saying you're not doing strict carnivore. I, for example, can do strict carnivore. I have for 2 years now. I haven't had anything but meat, eggs, butter, beef, butter, bacon, eggs. But I will have pork or chicken from time to time, and I'll get flare-ups of inflammation, and the arthritis I had in my foot will come back. So depending on what you're eating, if it were me and I was doing carnivore, I would try. I would say to myself, I'm doing carnivore. It's not that big of a stretch to go from carnivore to lion diet. It's really not that big of a stretch at all. And I can do that for 30 days and just see how I feel. Or maybe just a week. Start with a week. See how you feel after a week. But if it were me personally, I would try that for 30 days. Tom, is it possible on carnivore to suddenly have digestive issues with organic coffee? Yes, I think it could be. It's tricky with coffee. It's tricky with organic too. A lot of the stuff that we hear is organic is turned into almost a marketing term. I'll give you an example. If you were eating kale right now and you were like, I'm going to do good, I'm going to eat organic kale. 60% of organic kale tested had glyphosate on it, which is a weed killer and an antibiotic, and it's not organic. And it would mess up your gut. And I believe that is a huge reason we have an epidemic of leaky gut going on right now, by the way. But the coffee you could be getting, even though it's organic, it's a plant. There's lots of issues with coffee beans too, and like mold issues and things like that. So even though it's organic, that could be it. Could be the culprit. But if you're suddenly having digestive issues too, you could have a bug or something that's going on. It may not necessarily be the coffee, but it sounds like you have a feeling it's the coffee. So it's Occam's razor. It probably is. Hey, Carrie, I love how you eat meat and then you go kick the couch. Oh, that was a video I did. I kicked the couch. I was kind of excited. And Emma does what you do. It's so funny. Oh, thank you so much. I am the biggest blessing in the world. And the biggest thing that I thank Dante Ferrigno for is I'm a grown man, right? I'm so thankful that I found the healing. But the fact that my family has found the healing, my daughters, not just Emma, Alyssa's doing incredible as well. And she had issues with depression also. Alyssa, Emma, I'm so thankful. I am so grateful forever. Emma and Alyssa have been doing some really fun videos lately. A lot of people really enjoyed their last video, which, by the way, I'm taking full credit for. I kept telling Emma, I'm like, we've got a good camera here. She kept filming on her phone. I'm like, and then she's like, well, can you film it for me? So the last video that Emma did, it was the carnivore muffins. I helped them film and edit that one. And I don't know what I reeled myself into now because, well, we'll see. I'm happy to help when I can, but priority is the documentary. Man, we got everyone in the chat tonight. For those of you that just joined, I got to shout this out one more time because this is just incredible to me. First of all, Ontario, Canada, 1 week from today, we still got tickets. Link in the description below. We're doing meetups all over the country, and I am going to be speaking at Hack Your Health. And I got to tell you guys a quick story. The first time I spoke in front of a large group was at Hack Your Health last year, talking about our documentary, Healing Humanity, the Power of a Proper Human Diet, alongside my good buddy, Adam. And near the end, we spoke for, I believe it was 50 minutes. We shared clips from the documentary. And at the end, it was the room was standing room only. There were people standing around the edges. There was no seats, except there was one seat in the front that was open. And I believe that was because Emma was going around the room with a camera filming. And so her seat was open. I looked down, I saw that open seat. And I got the greatest thought in my brain ever. And I just blurted it out. And I said, what if next year Bill Knott is sitting right in this chair and he's here with us right here at Hack Your Health? And everybody went crazy and they started clapping. I was like, that's so cool. Just that thought. Never would have thought that would come to fruition, let alone at the very same event 1 year later. And it is happening. Bill Knott is in the chat right now, I think. And he's going to be at Hack Your Health in November. And he's going to be speaking on stage at Hack Your Health on the Healing Humanity presentation. It's going to be incredible. When Bill walks in that building, he's going to need security guards because he's going to get swarmed by people. We're also going to be likely doing a little Healing Humanity event while we're out there. Bill's going to be speaking at that as well. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely crazy. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Bill is incredible. If you guys aren't watching Bill's channel either, by the way, go watch Bill's channel. Stop watching this. Go watch Bill's channel. He's driving around in a car. Didn't almost 10 or 12 years since he's driven himself in a car, and on one of his previous videos, he's driving around. It's crazy. He's going from driving in his car to flying in an airplane across the country to Florida. Tampa, Florida, Bill Knott. So if you guys want to come to some of those meetups, link in the description below. And like I said earlier, shout out Hack Your Health. Robin runs Hack Your Health. She is awesome. I'm so grateful. I've been to a lot of different meetups and things all over the place. Hack Your Health is something I would vouch and stand behind. I'm posting a coupon code in the description below. I'm not an affiliate. I don't get a penny if you use this coupon code, but you get $100 off. I am hoping to help fill some seats because I'm grateful to Robin for allowing us to get the word out about our documentary and share it. We did it last year. It was the first place we ever spoke, and she's having us back. So hackyourhealth.com, and there's a promo code that I just posted to the chat. If anyone wants to get $100 off and, I don't know, come see Bill Knott speak. Oh, man, Bill, we're going to have so much fun. Besides that, this summer, the girls are traveling up to Alaska to hang out with Bill. Do you think going to Hack Your Health would result in learning any more than you can just by watching YouTube live videos? Sounds fun to be around others, but the air hotel costs too much. That is true. That is something you'd have to weigh into it because it is expensive. Airfare and hotel. I would say this, though. If you haven't been to any sort of meetup, just that alone, you can't recreate that on YouTube. Being in a room of people that have found a second chance at life and healing and just feeling that incredible carnivore energy is priceless, in my opinion. And there are a lot of things like you will literally, when I went to Hack Your Health last year, there's different booths as well and exhibitors. I walked right up and Dr. Baker standing there. I got to talk to Dr. Baker one-on-one. So if you have like a specific question or things like that, or you just want to meet some of these amazing individuals, walked right down from Dr. Baker. Dr. Kiltz was there at his booth, got to give him a big hug, talk to him, shake his hand as well. So you get a lot closer interaction. And then there's so many different topics that I suppose many of them you could seek out and find on YouTube, but I guess it's all a cost benefit sort of analysis. There's a lot of this stuff you could just get for free on YouTube for sure. But the one-on-one, the interaction, that personal connection, you won't get that way. Blue Water Baboon, I've subscribed to more channels tonight than I have in the past year. Thanks for the suggestion. Oh, absolutely. Bill's channel is incredible. I don't think I've missed a video of Bill's. Proper Human Eats. Can't wait for Saturday meetup in Ontario. Coming in from Montreal. Oh, thank you so much for coming in. Can't wait to see you. Jen's going to be there. Emma's going to be there. Alyssa's going to be there. Katie's going to be there. You're going to get to hear Dwight Garlow speak. It's going to be incredible. Dr. Kiltz. You get to meet Dr. Kiltz, Proper Human Eats, and hear him speak. All right. I think I got the questions. I want to do something here real quick. I did this last week, but I was shocked at how many people haven't seen this. This is the trailer to our documentary. It's a teaser. It's a little bit of a preview. This is old. And the reason I want to show this is because so many people were on here last time that had never seen it. It's just 3 minutes. And we have a new one coming out. So I want to show you guys this one. And then if you've already seen this one, here's a little refresher, but we have the new one coming out very, very soon. All right, here we go. Let me see. How can I make this a little bit larger? Present, share screen. And if you guys want to learn more or you want to donate to the documentary, it's donate.healinghumanity.movie. Full screen. Here we go.
From Healing Humanity. A proper human diet has changed my life forever. Not only am I down over 100 pounds since my heaviest, I also overcame depression and anxiety and many other issues. Now I'm going on a journey to help others do the same.
You know, I've been a doctor for nearly 30 years now.
We've all been misled for so long.
They gave me pills for anxiety. They gave me pills for depression.
Our bodies are so deficient and so malnourished that of course you're going to get diseases. Of course you're going to get sick.
I believe that I may have caused my cancer.
It is no way to live. It's a nightmare.
I was just so hopeless for so many years. It just kills me to know that the answer was out there the whole time.
The food that we're eating nowadays is simply not food. I mean, just because we put it in our mouths and we chew it and swallow it doesn't make it food.
We can sit back and we can say the bloody doctors, it's not their fault. They were trained and they're doing what they were trained to do.
The thing that really pisses me off is that the people that we should have been able to trust, the literal organizations that we look up to protect us, are the people who have done the majority of the misleading.
I'm 82 years old, which is just a chronological number. So you put the right fuel in the engine and the engine works.
I've now transitioned from a disease manager to a disease healer. I've transitioned from a drug dealer to a healer.
3 weeks ago, I didn't know this man, Bill, from Alaska. Bill is 700 pounds and he's been stuck in his house for 4 years. You nervous?
I'm nervous, scary. You know, I live in Alaska, the most incredible place on the planet. I had to have a toilet put, a few feet from my bed, which I can barely walk to as is. I have not been outside in over 4 years. This is life or death for me. I'm sorry, Gary. I'm sorry about that.
Here.
Man. Thanks, dude. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Now, for the first time in a long, long time, I'm looking towards the future, which I have not had in such a long, long time. And it's just the most incredible feeling.
There you go. So for those that haven't seen it yet, part of the reason we need to do another trailer too, I blame Bill Mott, is he keeps losing more and more weight. So in that video, that was at day 200, down 200 pounds. He's far surpassed that now. So of course we want Bill to continue on his path. But that's the other reason I'm excited that we're working on a new trailer. So like I said, we've got two trailers that we haven't shown yet that we're going to be releasing soon. We're just trying to figure out the best way to get those out, and then we're going to be working on a new trailer. Which someone just said the documentary looks so amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate the nice words on the documentary. You guys ain't seen nothing yet, and that's not me patting myself on the back. It's the stories that are in here. Since we filmed that trailer, we've been all over the world. 45 interviews, 9 doctor experts. We interviewed Dr. Anthony Chafee, Professor Thomas Seyfried, heart surgeon, Dr. Philip Ovadia, Dr. Tony Hampton, fertility specialist, Dr. Robert Kiltz. We interviewed Dr. Barry twice, including all over his farm on OB Farms. We've been all over the world. Dr. Lisa Wiedemann, Professor Thomas Seafried, Dr. Sean Baker. We've interviewed all of these guys. So the new trailer is going to highlight more of the scope of this, because besides those 9 amazing doctors and experts, 46 interviews in total. So what is that? 36 individuals as well. And we're not going to fit all the individuals in the documentary. Some of them are going to just have a little clip here, and then more of it will be in the series. But the next trailer that we got coming up is going to showcase the scope of the documentary. So looking forward to that. Okay, we got a couple more questions. Let me see, and a couple more comments, and then I got to go upstairs and help Jen because I think she's cleaning up. Kimberly, Carrie, I met you, your family, numerous YouTubers and followers on this channel right now watching at the Tampa meetup, as I had a great time and can't wait for the next one. Thank you for coming out to the meetup. Nice to meet you, Kimberly. Latro, I suffered with worsening type 2 diabetes for 30 years. I have reversed 5 years of issues in 1 year now. Latro, you are a legend. Congratulations. Reversed 5 years of issues in 1 year now. That's amazing. Congratulations. Polish Mike has a question. So how much of the documentary is Bill's story? Based on the trailer, it's about half. If you want to include a variety of topics, the movie would need to be many hours long. Bill's story is not half the documentary. Bill's story is a major part of the documentary, but definitely not anywhere near half of it. To give you guys a little teaser into it, there's going to be about 4 main stories that we touch on briefly in the documentary. So we meet Bill in the beginning of the documentary. You hear about his story. He's stuck in his house for several years, 700 pounds, stuck in his house in Alaska. You meet me because I'm the one doing the documentary and traveling around interviewing these people. You meet Jeff DeProsperous, and you meet Maggie, Rancher Maggie. Then we go into the center of the documentary, which is the doctors and the experts and the stories of people that have already surpassed 1 year on carnivore, where we touch on a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit of diabetes, a little bit of cancer, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And then we check in with Bill, and we check in with Jeff, we check in with Maggie. And then near the end of the documentary is when we went to film Bill 1 year later. And that's kind of the format of it. You are absolutely right in saying, Mike, the documentary would need to be a couple hours long. That is why we're doing the series. So we filmed, like I said, 46 interviews now. Not all of them are going to be in the documentary, and some of them are just going to be in for a little bit. Like we may talk about depression, for example, and I probably have 25 of the 46 interviews where someone mentions depression. So we may touch on, this person mentions depression. I overcame depression. I had anxiety or bipolar disorder or this or that. And we may touch on those briefly in the documentary, but to your point, it would be hours long if we covered every story in detail. And then at the end, if you want to learn more about depression, here's an entire episode on depression. And we'll probably have a couple episodes on depression, mental health, and a couple episodes on cancer. All right. Polish Mike said it'd be nice to have other trailers for other topics to draw more interest. Absolutely. So we like I said, we already have 2 of them done. We just haven't released them on YouTube yet. And that is Pastor Jimmy and Annette, their story, which was in the aging segment. And then Dr. Kilt's, his story as both an individual and a doctor. Those are done. And I can't wait to share those with the world. Just trying to think of the best way to do that. Try to keep the momentum going, keep people excited. I'm trying to think of the best way to do it too, Polish Mike, because it's amazing to me, like the trailer that I just showed, there's so many people that they're like following, and I've heard them, I've seen them on the chat over and over again. They're like, I never saw that before. And in my mind, I'm like, I thought everybody saw that. So try to get the reach to everybody. But yeah, the new one will definitely be more. The problem with all of this is it would be nice to have 10 trailers, but it's incredibly expensive to do this to the quality that we're trying to do it. If we were just filming this on iPhones or something like that, we'd have many trailers, but it's thousands and thousands of dollars just even to do a 3-minute trailer. It's like $1,000 per finished minute by the time it goes through our editor and color grading and sound work and all of that stuff. So to get it to the level it needs to be in order to get on one of these big streaming services, we have to do it to that quality, and it's expensive. So, but we'll probably have three trailers that are going to be coming out in the coming weeks that no one's seen on YouTube before. So that's exciting for sure. All right, I think I'm going to end it there. The movie just ended upstairs. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate you all so much. I really do. I hope that we can do more of these carnivore open mics. We only had 2 people that wanted to share tonight, so maybe if I advertise it earlier, we'll get more people building up. But I really appreciate the folks that shared. I'm not going to be doing this next week because next week at this very time, I'm going to be honoring the legend Jeff DeProsperous out in Canada. That's why we're going out there. That's why we're covering cancer in this documentary and sharing Jeff's story and keeping his legend going. He's helped so many people, is of the utmost importance to me, honoring his story and sharing it with the world. And we're going to be going up to Canada to do a big meetup in his honor and a tribute to Jeff. And I'm really looking forward to all of that. So I'll be posting some pictures and some stuff on the social media as we're traveling up there in the coming days. So thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate y'all. Have a great night.